Hi, it's Wayne Purnell, the breakthrough success coach and your powerful presence mentor. This is not a one sharp sword cutting through to what matters most episode. This is not a blog. This is a special update just for you. Yes, it is, because the holidays are on us. Now, I've chosen not to do the ugly sweater thing or the funny cap or whatever, because not only are the holidays on us, but these tips are useful anytime you meet with anybody. So whether you've got a family gathering coming up or whether you've got a meeting with your team, if you're meeting with anybody, these tips will help you. I call it the magic framework. I call it the magic formula, the magic framework, and the core here is magic, MAGIC, magic. All right, so let's walk through this. Mindset is the first letter. It's M. Let's just say it this way. M is for mindset. All right, M is for mindset. Now, you've got a family gathering. Everybody's got this idea of the perfect family gathering, what it should be, how it should be, what kinds of things need to happen in order to make it even more perfect. And so is going to sit there, and so is going to bring the green beans, and so is going to do the whatever. And this is what the toast will be. And then, right. And so there's all these supposed tos and shoulds, and sometimes mindset even goes, excuse me, to the flip side of that, which is, and then Uncle Joe is going to say something and it's going to set everybody off, and they're, going to do a political thing, or they're going to do a racist or sexist thing, or they're going to do something that's going to offend somebody. And truthfully, in my background, I had a period of time where I dreaded family gatherings because of exactly that. Like, it was almost like going to a family gathering we needed to gear up for weeks to put on emotional armor because of what someone might say to offend someone else, and how we're going to respond, and how we're going to have to manage that. And that's a lot of emotional energy. It's a lot of psychic or psychological energy, and it's a waste. And it really, I mean, seriously, it's a waste. Here's the thing. Your mindset matters. So if you show up and you are solid and you say, the only reason that people get triggered is if their personal identity is threatened, then you don't have to manage anybody else. You manage you. So your mindset is about, I am going to show up in joy. In joy. I'm going to bring my own happiness. I'm not going to require anybody to try and make me happy. I will choose to eat the food or not eat the food. I will choose to engage in conversation or not engage in certain conversation, which brings us to the A, which is MAGIC. The A is accountability. Accountability. You're responsible for whom? You're responsible for you. And if you've got little kids, then sure, you've got to take some responsibility for them at least behaving civilly and socially, and also recognize that they are children and they don't have the perspective that you have about what a family gathering should be. And so allow them their childrenness and allow them their childhood. And in terms of accountability, you choose how you are going to react. You choose how someone is going to say something, and then you'll be all offended, or someone's going to say something and you will simply walk away. That's the end of the conversation. You choose what you tolerate. And seriously, think about this. Are you gearing up for an argument? Are you gearing up to have to defend yourself? If you're doing that already, don't go. Well, they'll be really, I've got a cat who's trying to push on the screen. They'll be really offended, and they'll be mad at me if I don't go. They'll be mad at you if you do. There's going to be arguments. So accountability. It's like you're in charge of you. How do you want to feel? So one, how do you want to show up? What do you want to bring? Uh, what kind of emotional energy will you bring to the party? And what boundaries will you hold? So those are really important. I don't know if you can see this. I will tilt my camera down just a little bit. There's a cat trying to get my attention. Let's talk about boundaries. Cats have none. Unless you're trying to be friends with them, then they choose, right? We could learn lessons from cats. They choose. All right. So I've chosen to allow the cat in, right? So in terms of my gathering, I can't control the cat. I can control my response to the cat, right? So it's just like that at a family gathering. I can't control Uncle so-and-so who's going to say something and be mean or offensive, but I can control my reaction. And the response the response I would have ready to go is this is not a conversation I wish to participate in. Right? Have some straight lines ready to go. I have a different opinion. I choose not to continue this avenue of conversation. That's accountability. That's responsibility. That's setting boundaries. Try that. So, mindset. How are you going to show up? What are you going to bring? What are you looking for? Can you look for the good before you get there? Or are you going to show up knowing it's going to be an argument, right? What's your mindset before you go? Accountability. You're responsible for you, your responses, your reactions, and have a few ready to go. G is for gratitude. Look, not everybody gets to do what you're doing. Some people don't have families. Some people don't choose to or cannot celebrate in the way you're celebrating. So recognize that you're having a gathering is a big deal. And if you're in a position where you're not having a gathering, look around because there's still so much you can be grateful for. There's so much to be grateful for. And, whether it's friends, whether it's pestery cats, whether it's being able to see a video like this, you are watching this on some kind of technology that other people don't have. So you've got a lot. If you look around your life, you've got a lot for which you can be grateful. So the M is mindset, A is accountability, G is gratitude, I is inspiration. Now, inspiration comes in many forms. So what are you going to bring to lift others? And the flip side of that is what can you stop saying to bring others down? I'm going to give you the 3 top watchwords on my in choosing your power. I have 10 watchwords in that book, my very first book, choosing your power. 10, I call it Wayne's watchwords. And my top 3 are why, but, and should. And I've done blog posts on this before. I will go through this very briefly. Why is blameful and shameful and demands a because response. So you were putting someone down. Why did you bring green beans instead of potato salad or vice versa? Why didn't you call sooner? Why did you choose to wear that? Why would you say such a thing? Right? This is blameful and shameful. And so, it's only meant to start a fight if you think about it. And it's kind of parental. It's very condescending. And unless you're doing a why exercise, why does that matter to me? Like an internal exercise, there's very few times that you will actually need to utter those. Like, I wonder why this happened. Let's reverse engineer it. Great. Ponder it. Don't ask another human, why did you do that? It's blameful, right? Why don't you just come out and say, I'm mad at you? That's right. Why don't you just come out and say that? See how condescending that sounds, right? Versus simply make a statement. I'm mad at you. Awesome. I'm angry. I'm angry that you're here late. That's a statement. Flip the why to something more positive, though. Remember that the I in magic is inspiration. So, hey, what could you do to make sure that we all know where you are or what your timing is? Do you think you might be able to call? What or how? What could you do? How could you plan differently? Those would be things for the future because you can't change what's happened in the past, right? Why didn't you call sooner? I can't have called sooner. You don't really want the answer to why I couldn't have called sooner. You're blaming, right? So let go of that. So the I is inspiration, right? Why, but, and should. Knock those out of your vocabulary for the holidays. I can go into those in detail. It's another blog post. All right. Inspiration. Who are you going to lift? How are you going to lift someone? And think about the language you'll use. And think about like, wow, what is the most interesting thing that happened to you in the last year? Like, let's look back at this year. What a crazy year. What was the most interesting thing? What did you do to get through this challenging time? What's your latest interest? Those are great questions to inspire thought, conversation, creative thinking, right? So try that. What's going on with you? What's new? And watch your tonality, because what's going on with you is a very different question than what's going on with you. All right. So then what else? The C. MAGIC, mindset, accountability, gratitude, inspiration, clarity. The C is clarity. How clear are you about what you want? How clear are you about where you're headed in this coming year? This is a huge challenge. Most people are going to plan the table setting more than they're going to plan their calendar for the coming year. And I will tell you that if you have your calendar planned for the coming year, at least the coming quarter, the first 3 months, if you do it on a rolling basis of a quarter, like plan out your 3 months, not moment by moment. You don't have to be that detailed, not yet. At some point you will, but not yet. Know where you're headed. That's clarity. The other thing is know what you stand for. And that's the most important thing. What do you stand for? What are your values? My values are integrity and family and love. And what else? Like what else are your values? Right? So knowing that allows you to know what you'll tolerate in your life. And a lot of people don't look at what their values are. And in dynamic transitions, I talk about the values journey, because what we valued before isn't what we value now, right? In our 20s, it's like, hey, look at me, look what I could do. And in your 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s and 70s and 80s, like your values change over time. You want stability. You want to leave legacy. You want to focus on your health. You want more adventure. What are your values? Get really clear about those, because when you go to a family gathering, knowing what's in and what's out allows you much more control in terms of the conversation you're going to have with others. Because you can start there. Hey, I really value travel right now. And this coming year is going to be one where, as more and more borders open up for us to travel to, I'm going to be finding a way to get out and travel and see the world differently. Right? What are your values? What are your values? I value health. I mean, look at how terrible the last 2 years were. And that's cool. Right? So what are you going to do to make that happen? And start to have those conversations. The other thing is, in terms of clarity, how can I help you? Like, that's a great question. So at the holiday gathering, you're going to be focused on bringing your joy, bringing your happiness, right? Not showing up going, oh gosh, who's going to say something that's going to make me like lose my mind this time? change that mindset to they're going to say what they're going to say. I choose to be happy for the next 4 hours while I'm choosing to be in this environment. And I'm accountable for my responses. And I'm really grateful that I get to have this encounter because a lot of people don't. And, even the car I drove in to get here and the food I prepared and whether anybody else likes it or not, that's up to them. That's their accountability. For me, I'm grateful that I get to prepare food and bring it and taste other people's food. And I'm going to tell them so. I'm going to let them know that I'm grateful. I'm going to let them know that they matter to me. So this is the inspiration part, right? So mindset, accountability, gratitude. The inspiration is I'm going to find a way to lift someone else by telling them something nice about them. And clarity is really the thread that runs through it all. I know who I am. I know what I value, and I know what I tolerate and what I no longer tolerate. And I have strategies for boosting the things that I tolerate and actually want in my life. And I have strategies for holding boundaries against those things I no longer want in my life. So there it is, the magic formula, MAGIC. And I hope that this makes sense to you, because not only can you use this at the holidays, you can use this if you're in a leadership position, either in a family or in a team, or even as a good human out in the world, right? MAGIC, the magic framework. That's from me, Dr. P, your powerful presence mentor and the breakthrough success coach. I'm Dr. Wayne Purnell. I will see you here again. Thank you for joining me.